So, one day I made a second channel video about solo queue and how it's worth it. Pretty fun, you can check it out if you want. And I ultimately came to the conclusion that solo helped me figure out that I don't know if sword fits me very well, and I'm thinking about moving on from the weapon and playing other things that are clearly winning me more matches. And I got this comment, which I don't think was intending to be rude, but it did kind of miss a point, where they said, spoiler, you use the sword because it's fun, not a big mystery. Don't forget that fun is important in a game, Lamau. Don't focus only on winning, or just being competitive. And, you know, it got me thinking. I've seen memes about people saying that competitive players take all the fun out of the game, and I kind of want to talk about it. What is competitive Splatoon, and why do I do it in the first place? Why do I think it's worth my time, and is it worth your time if you're considering it? I want to talk about that today, the positives and the negatives, and I'll let you come to your own conclusions. And hopefully I can explain a bit more about why this mindset about competitive versus having fun isn't really fair. So, first off, what is competitive Splatoon? A lot of people seem to think that there's some kind of skill barrier, like you have to have some kind of X power before you could dare compete in a tournament, but that's not true. Being competitive in a game, to me, is trying to get better at the game and focusing on that when you play it. Basically trying to become a better player and trying to win. I think you can do this at any skill requirement. I've seen some people who are literally top 500 in this game and don't consider themselves competitive, nor do they grind the game. They just happen to be really good at it. And being good at a game doesn't inherently make you competitive. You can be really good at the game and play it casually. In the same sense, you can be really low ranked at the game and be competitive and still want to get better at it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I describe being a competitive player as a mindset. It's not that you don't, quote, have fun, it's that what's fun to you is getting better at the game and trying to progress as an individual or on a team. So I have 5 personal reasons that I think makes the game pretty fun. There's probably a bit more, and feel free to let me know in the comments what makes competitive fun for you if you want to share your experience. But for me, first, I think the best part is it's a good avenue to make connections and be on teams that can be really fun. I think the best teams are those with people that become really good friends, and being able to have something to do with people that you enjoy being around is awesome. You spend a lot of time with the team you're on, or just a pickup or people you enjoy playing the game with, and having common goals of getting better gives you something to do that can be enjoyable. I also think on an individual level, it gives a lot of motivation for the game. There's a constant drive for self-improvement and getting better, because especially when you understand the game, you could really realize how bad you actually are. I mean this at any level. I think it's really cool to see just how high the mountain of skill is in this game and to constantly have things to strive for. But for me, it's really nice to know that I've played this game for over 7 years and there's still so much more I have to do. It gives me more of a reason to keep playing, and honestly, I think seeing that progression is really fun, which brings me to my next point. Obviously, there'll be some ups and downs, but I think as a whole, you do progress as a competitive player, and it's fun to watch that, to look back 6 months ago and see how you've improved. Maybe it's a rank you climbed, a really good set you had, some playstyle adjustments, a tournament result, whatever it might be. It's cool to be able to look back and actually see the time you put into the game get you somewhere and to move forward. A lot of this is done with competition, such as a tournament setting, which I think is fun. Having a really intense Sendu queue match that goes to a game 7 or a tournament set, maybe a match you need to get out of your group or to get top 8, and being super into it as you go against a team who's so even with you. There's just a certain drive and vibe in that competitive setting that I think is entirely unique. And while you can get a lot of it out of the fact of being a spectator, in fact that's why watching competitive is so fun, I think it's an entirely different experience to be there as a player, to be in the action, to be someone capable of making these tournament winning plays, to make a name for yourself in the scene. Maybe you're known as this one trick who's pushed a weapon for a while, or just a player who improved really fast, or maybe you don't want to be known for anything and you're just happy to make any progress you can. I think it's really cool to see that in a setting and be able to look back on it, watch back these casts of your tournament sets, or save it for you to look back at later. And that brings me to the 5th reason. You get to connect and grow with the scene. When you're being competitive, you become part of this community of other competitive players. You get to play against other teams and get to know them. Maybe you played against a team and you had a really close match against them and want to play them more in future. Maybe you'll get to know some of the players. Maybe you'll get to play tournaments, find series you like, and the TOs that make it happen. Our entire scene is very grassroots and interconnected in particular. Everyone here is here just because they like the game and want to see it and the scene do better, and you'll get to meet a lot of people who do that in different ways, and I think that's cool. And in fact, just by competing or even watching a tournament, you get to to help grow the scene. Now, of course, there are some drawbacks. The main one, of course, is it's a lot of time and a lot of work. Obviously, you can be competitive and not put a lot of time in the game, but the better you get at the game, the more time you're likely going to want to put in. Sometimes you don't want to do it, and that's going to be difficult, especially if you have other things you have to do. Another one is these connections I made are hard to do. I know plenty of people who've been stuck in the quote-unquote free agent hell, who do want a team and try to get to one, but have a hard time actually getting there, and it can be difficult to make connections with people who you need to. It requires a lot of social skills and putting yourself out there, and that's hard. And of course, most importantly, for every amazing set you win or tournament match you're happy with, there will be those games where you play horribly, where you lose that close set, where you get quote-unquote upset by a team who people think you should be able to beat. In fact, most of the first tournaments you do, being the first ones, are probably going to be pretty bad. There's going to be a lot of failing that you'll need to be able to take in order to get better. And some people, understandably, don't want to deal with it. Now, is this all worth it? For me, there's no financial incentive in this game like most other esports, but that doesn't make your time in this game invaluable. I see a lot of people, especially younger people, worrying a lot about wasting their time on this game. And really, I don't think it's that big an issue. Do you enjoy what you're doing? Do you feel productive with it? Are you having fun? Then I think that's all it needs to be worth your time. To go back to the comment I got, yeah, I use Sword because it's fun, but for me, I enjoy getting better at the game. I can always use Sword casually when I want, but if I want to play something else or change a playstyle or do something different, it's because I want to see myself improve, and that improvement and progression is fun for me. That's the whole point. People are competitive in this game because it is fun. Being competitive isn't focusing on winning to the point of not enjoying the game. People are competitive, or at least they should be competitive, because trying to get better at the game is fun. It gives you new things you can do compared to playing it casually. And I don't know if I'd be as invested in this game as I am right now if I was playing it purely casually. I have fun with it, but would I be on it almost every day and playing as much as I do if it was just casually? I don't think so. And honestly, I think competitive is an experience you can customize. If you want to try things out by just doing a few Sendoku sets, or playing with a few friends, or doing an occasional tournament or scrim, you can. You don't have to super grind the game if you want to. It's all about that personal improvement and progression, and I think each individual needs to figure out what their goals are and customize their own experience to their liking. For me, it turned into something that I really enjoyed, and it's been something that I've continued to enjoy to this day. And for you, who knows? If you are someone who saw this video and thinks about trying it out, I've linked the Splatoon Stronghold in the description of this video, and in fact in pretty much every video. It's a hub where you can find other servers, basic advice, and more information on the competitive scene, so it'd be where I recommend to start. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.